Here we go. Randy was just telling us that her husband was saying some unconscious stuff and it was freaking her out and she wanted to know how to make him not do it, basically. That's the short version. Does that feel like a good summary, guys? Okay. Yeah. The husband said, most musicians are working for the money. And you felt like that was a blanket, unconscious, how could it be true because you don't know most musicians XYZ kind of a statement. The interesting thing here for us is that it bothered you that he was being unconscious, in your opinion. Whereas the invitation we would extend to you is that if he thinks that most musicians are working for the money, it's just what he thinks. It's not necessarily him even being unconscious, but it is him deciding what to focus on. You guys getting this? Because most musicians are working for the money. Like Mary pointed out a few minutes ago when we had to say, be quiet for a minute. We were going to get back to you. You're right. Most people work for the money and other stuff, right? Like we say, we send you, you go off to work for your spiritual path and get paid. Because at this point, money is what makes the wheels go round still. Most musicians are working for money. Now, why we keep repeating that is because we want to see what happens when you hear that. Because what we believe happens when you hear that is, God damn it, I'm going to be working for money for the rest of my life. I'm sick of working for money. And I don't want to hear that most people are working for money because I don't want to be reminded of my own triggers around money. And he could have said something else. He could have said, most people are working so they can eat. And you probably would have gone, weird thing to say, but yeah, most people are working so they can eat. But we have a sense that him saying most people work because of money, or most musicians work to get money, the money thing triggered in you the feeling of, and I'm just one of those poor slobs that works hard for money all the time, and I'm going to be worried. Even people who do what they love, they're still just doing it for the money. XYZ, 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 XYZ.
And lack of it.
Yeah.
And the lack of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, so he wasn't wrong, is that what you're saying?
so we can't blame Tony, damn it.
That's why he's such a good partner for me.
Okay.
When I get to this level of understanding.
So,
yeah.
So what is really important here is it comes for you personally, and then we're going to talk more about the group. For you personally, this comes down again to that thing that we've talked to you about before, where you're driving in the car and someone's walking down the street and you're wondering why the heck they have that hairdo or whatever.
Right.
Where what you're choosing out of the 1,000 widgets of awareness to put your 10 widgets of ability to interact with on. What are you going to choose? And for you especially, because you are very creative and you do have a good awareness and you know what's going on and you're handling a lot of details all the time, just like you've whittled down all your volunteering over the years that we've been working with you, etc. What are you, honest to goodness, going to put your attention on? And a lot of times your husband and his having a slightly different viewpoint on how it is to be conscious and to live consciously confuses you, because you get wrapped up in his viewpoint and you lose sight of what your viewpoint is. So continuing the example, if you have 1,000 widgets of awareness, let's say you have 20 and he has 20, and of those 20, a few overlap, but not all of them, thank God, or that'd be boring. And then, but when he's involved in some, you feel like you have to get your nose involved in some of his. So for you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, it's going to be extraordinarily important to discipline yourself about what is important to you. Now, you're riding in the car and you think he's being low vibrational, and yeah, he's just really triggering you, but sometimes he is low vibrational. So we're not going to give him a complete pass, because we know Tony. So sometimes he is low vibrational, and he's unconscious in a different way than you're unconscious, right? It's not like he's not. Why is that funny? Is that funny? Yes. Apparently, that's very funny. You're all unconscious in different ways than other people, right?
Yes.
Some of you are super conscious about how you treat your bodies, and others are super conscious about how you talk to yourselves, and others are super conscious about how you interact with your pets. That doesn't mean you're all, wow, we don't know why that was funny. Anyway, maybe we'll learn. Veronica will explain it later. Maybe. She's confused too, but that's okay.
It was slightly insulting.
Is it?
Yes.
No.
Slightly insulting?
I loved it.
You loved it.
It was
Well,
accurate.
it could be
It's
taken
accurate.
that way.
Really?
Very accurate.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, we didn't mean it. What we meant is, let's say there are 1,000 things you need to become conscious of on the ascension path. You've got 50 over here, you've got 50 over there, you've got 50 over there, and maybe each of you's got 5 that are the same. That's all we meant. Does that make, now you're done being insulted? You weren't totally insulted, just slightly. Okay, we're confusing we've totally confused ourselves. Back to Tony. So, if he is going to be focusing on these 20, and you're going to be focusing on these 20, and they overlap slightly, this is the place where you build your marriage. This over here, we don't have enough fingers apparently. That's not marriage building place. That's you building you and him building him. This is where you're building your marriage. The problem with you guys, often, is that he gets interested in something which you think is ridiculous, and then you have a hard time letting him have it, just like you have a hard time letting go the person walking down the street with a weird hairdo. It's like, why did they do their hair that way? And then you're with them instead of with your widgets of 20.
So the ones that overlap will all recognize that because it'll be conscious behavior on both of our parts, or it'll feel familiarly conscious, and then the things that we focus on that are not the same. Yeah. If I'm triggered by something, I just use the short factual statement and then move on to my own stuff.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you know, because he's the musician. So for him to make a statement, most musicians are working for the money. He is actually the expert about that.
Yeah, well, something about I didn't back it up because I don't remember the whole thing leading up to it, but the feeling around it was, we were talking about teaching and all of that, but it was the feeling around it was lack because of their lack of. But you're right, and I don't look at it, excuse me, in that way. Yeah. I wasn't looking that he had a valid opinion about it.
Yeah. So let's just use the general example so we can move forward.
Okay.
But the idea of most musicians work for the money. He knows more of the most musicians than you do. Yeah. He's actually the expert. Of the two of you, he's the expert on that subject. He's not the world's expert, but he's certainly out of the two of you the one who knows more. Like if he said some sort of general statement about bees, you could have an opinion that would be more educated. He has a more educated opinion about what most musicians are up to. It triggered you, so that's why the issue came up. So when you felt uncomfortable, you could say, wow, I'm triggered by that statement. Not, you have to be more conscious.
Right.
I'm triggered by that statement. And then you can discuss why you're triggered. And the beauty is, when you go from talking about most musicians to talking about I'm triggered, you're in the overlap.
Ah, I get you. Okay.
Because you both care about what triggers you.
Right.
You care about what triggers him. You care about what triggers you. You care about healing triggers and transforming habits. Do you guys see how that works?
Yeah.
So you were over here, or maybe you're in bees. He's in music, you're in bees. He gets triggered because something goes on with your bees. And instead of it being about the freaking bees, it's about, the bees are script holding to show me where I'm triggered.
Right.
Script holding bees.
Thank you.
Very good.
You got it?
Yes, I do.
Are we having the searchlights going across the sky? Everyone's got a searchlight?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Richard.